Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with Swaggle. And in this video, we got to talk about how FOMO is one hell of a drug. That's right, it is a very, very special Sunday edition here on the Swaggle channel where we got to talk about some breaking news. And we got to talk about specifically a book that has absolutely lit up the lamp, so to speak, and taken the comic book market by storm. We got to talk about the 1 in 25 Black Panther #3, Clarke Variant, first appearance of TOSIN Oduyye. Yes, this is right. This is actually a news story that sort of brought to my attention by the guys over at Tails From The Flipside, so shout out to them. Brian McClay and the crew over there, they do an amazing job. Also Mighty Mel, Drunken Chat, he's been kind of following the stories, and they really put me onto this book. So I kind of wanted to, highlight this for you guys right here to see if we can kind of, get some of the word out to the community, because this is pretty crazy. Every now and again you kind of get these books, or even in other markets, in the sports cards markets, or even in stocks, like you have these things that happen that are unexplainable, like when GME stock was absolutely going to the moon and how fast it came and rised up. All of a sudden everybody was talking about it and what was going on, and it was hard to find that information. So in this video I kind of want to explain at least how I see it, what's going on with this comic book here, and talk about the FOMO and the speculation and perhaps some of the manipulation that has really been driving this thing. But of course, before I get into the story, if you guys could drop me a like or a comment or subscribe, if you're enjoying the content, help support the channel, doing those things, I would appreciate it. But let's get right into it here today. I have in front of you, of course, the CBSI Hot 10 list. Shout outs to Ben. He does an amazing job with this list every single week. You guys should definitely go check him out. Check out the coverage of this on Tails From The Flipside as well. I don't cover this list usually because obviously those guys do an amazing job covering it, so I don't need to. But we got to talk about this book right here. This is the #1 book on this list. Again, it is Black Panther from 2022, #3, the Torrin Clarke 1 in 25 variant. And what is the significance of this? Well, this book features the first appearance of a character known as TOSIN Oduyye. Now, TOSIN Oduyye, a new character in sort of the universe of Black Panther, and right now has sort of been kind of dubbed as like the next Miles Morales within context to the Black Panther universe. And right now, this book is absolutely on fire on eBay right now. But let's really kind of clarify this character of TOSIN first, and point to this sort of bleeding cool article, because all roads sort of point to this article as being sort of the catalyst that has really like elevated this book into a new stratosphere. And this was a bleeding cool article that came out on January 26th, and this is the one that called Black Panther 3: A New Ultimate Fallout 4, TOSIN the New Miles Morales. I mean, just that headline alone is going to get comic book collectors frothing at the mouth if they think that they have an opportunity to get in on a cover price book for a character who might be the new Miles Morales. So just quickly going through the article earlier today, Bleeding Cool looked at Black Panther #3 or Black Panther #200, because that's the legacy number depending on how you want to count it. Bleeding Cool understands that internally at Marvel Comics it is being talked about in terms of Miles Morales, and that they are looking for comparable possibilities for the character of TOSIN Oduyye, who first appears in the backup strip in today's Black Panther. So again, a new character created in the Black Panther sort of mythos. This is the character right here. I mean, I feel like this character is very influenced by, Echo from League of Legends, if you guys are familiar with that property. But this is the character, he's kind of a little bit more radicalized in comparison to, T'Challa Black Panther. He wants to go a little more old school and kind of make it less about tech and more about like the magic. As you can see, his body is kind of glowing from the, Wakandan vibranium. So I just quickly want to show you guys like the journey this book has taken over these last few days. And we can kind of see just from the sold listings on eBay how much this book has jumped. Here we have a sold January 21st, 2022. It was a best offer accepted. This is a pre-buy because the book came out on the 26th. Let's just say someone accepted this book for, I don't know, $80, $90, $100, whatever. Here's another slash price of $99. That was January 25th. Another slash price of $99, January 25th. And then here we start to feel the FOMO jumping in overall. On the 26th, we have 124 sale, slash price, another 125, another 100, 125, another slash price, another slash price. It keeps yo-yoing between like the $100 range, maybe all the way up to 150 here on January 26th. And then we get to January 27, and all of a sudden this book becomes like a slash price of $200. And now it's $195 on January 27. And now here's another slash $200. Now here's a $200 sale. And we keep going up, $225. And then we get to January 28th, the next day, slash price of $400. Here we we have a bid, a live auction bid here. This one goes for $202.50. Then we get some $300 slash prices, $400 slash, another $400 slash. Here's a $495 buy it now on January 29. It was a new listing, so someone instantly swooped it up. And here we see another eBay auction. This one had 83 bids and it sold for $585. This was on January 29th, last night. Now when we go into eBay and we look at this book being sold, we see listings for $795, $675, $599. We have currently 2 auctions going on. One that is currently at $300 with 28 bids on it. So who knows what that's going to sell for in 3 days time. We have another live auction bid right here. This is $290 with 29 bids, another 3-day wait period. This has both the 1 in 25 Torrin Clarke variant and also the cover A, which is like currently going around the $25, $30 range just for that cover A. And then we have another one here listed at $1,000, or 2 here listed at $1,000. But needless to say, the fact that this book last night at auction sold for $585 is absolutely insane. Talk about FOMO and speculation getting out of hand with this one. I mean, here we have a character who by all accounts seems like they're, going to be pretty cool, or, maybe have a bright future ahead of them. But because of the fact that this is being speculated, that this character is going to be the next Miles Morales, people are now buying these sort of speculative values and buying comics at these prices that rival, ironically, that of the characters like Miles Morales, the ones that they're supposed to eventually be. Now, again, let me just say, whatever people want to do with their money, if they want to buy a book or they want to value a book at a certain level, that's totally up to them. Like, it's not up to me to say, hey, this is a waste of money, or you don't like this character, or you shouldn't be buying this character's, 1 in 25, whatever the case may be. Hey, who knows? Maybe 10 years from now, this character is going to be the flagship character of Marvel comic books, and we would all be dying to get our hands on this book for $500. But one of the things I'm just trying to bring to you guys in terms of like adding some value or some takeaways or giving you guys my thoughts is really just trying to, throw it to you. Maybe you want to pump the brakes a little bit on the FOMO with this one, because let's really be honest with ourselves as far as like what this potential character could eventually amount to, as far as like them becoming sort of the next Miles Morales or whatever the case may be. One of the things I've been doing a lot recently with the videos I've been putting out is really emphasizing the idea of comps when it comes to buying certain comic books, and making sure that you protect yourself from a book completely correcting, a couple months from now when nobody cares about it, and really understanding like, entry points and what are the floors and support levels for certain books. And when I look at a book like this and I see it being sold for $585 as a live auction bid, and we're comparing this character to, the possibility of them becoming Miles Morales one day. I mean, just to do a quick, comparison, if we think about Miles Morales and his first appearance, like even in the second print, I mean, here's a 9.6 second print for Miles Morales' first appearance, and this one has a buy it now of $289. So, you're buying this character who you feel like can maybe one day get up to the level of another character, and their second print is being sold for less. So where's the logic in this? Now, again, I understand that this is a 1 in 25 variant, and people are sort of speculating that this might one day be sort of like a Djurdjevic variant for Miles Morales, and it's going to be a book that could be worth, $20,000. And hey, ultimately, nobody really knows. I certainly don't know. I can't predict the future. But when I see the prices for this book being sold at this level of $585, and I go over here to Miles Morales' second print, first appearance in a CGC 9.8, being sold at $699, and I think to myself, hey, you're someone out there who wants to pick up this book or be able to, buy it now for $795, and you could actually have, the Miles Morales second print in a 9.8 already in a CGC case for the same amount. To me, it just doesn't make sense that you're anticipating that the speculative opportunity of a character like TOSIN is going to actually live up to where Miles Morales is right now. And Miles Morales hasn't even hit his ceiling. I don't even think he's close to hitting his ceiling overall. And just to clarify, if you guys didn't know this right here is Ultimate Fallout 4, but it is the 1 in 25 Djurdjevic variant. This is one that currently, sells on the market for like $20,000 or whatever whatever the fair market value is today. I mean, we can take a look at that in a second, but people are sort of anticipating that the current Clarke variant could eventually become what this variant is to Ultimate Fallout number 4. Because if we know that Ultimate Fallout number 4 sells a fair market value around the $3,000 range, I believe that it is right now, this one sells, 6 times more than that. So that's why people are willing to maybe roll the dice and gamble on the character like TOSIN, feeling like the Clarke variant could maybe one day go up to the numbers like this. Here we see the 9.8s, 155 on the census. Fair market value is 19,500. 90-day moving, however, is 28,000. So you can see right there, the last sale at Heritage was November 29th, and it was for 28,800. Someone was willing to spend money on this book at that level. So, if we go back to, the Clarke variant here, and people right now are thinking to themselves, well, this character, has the potential to be like a Miles Morales, they could eventually live up to that level. And right here is the 1 in 25 variant. So, if I do the math in my head, or if I do the, logic calculation, it could live up to that level. And this could be a $20,000 book one day. And you know what? They might be right. They might be right. And if you're someone out there who has $585 to spend and throw around on a book, well, by all means, I guess if you want to kind of take that gamble and take that risk, that's certainly up to you. But before you jump into this, and if you're someone out there who's watching this video and you're thinking about bidding on the current live auctions that are going on right now, there is one little thing that we do have to point out. And this is this idea right here where I kind of looked into this auction, I clicked on these bids, and there are some things that, you have to be careful of when you're looking at, what is occurring with this current comic book. So if we go into the bidding right here, again, this is all just Reddit detective stuff. Again, I don't really know. I'm just sort of looking at it. But there are some flags to me when I look at some of these bids. And specifically, there's a bidder right here who's got, this parentheses 4, which means 4 reviews or whatever. And if I go to their account, at least what it's going to show me, I see feedback for this person is 0% positive. So they have maybe 4 reviews on their total account, and they have 0% positive scores. To me, like, that is a red flag of like, okay, who is this person that is bidding this? Who is this person that is like constantly like creating the FOMO against maybe their own listing? Maybe it's a shill account in some manner that is kind of bidding up these auctions. And if you look at this, I mean, this person started out down here. They started bidding it at 80. You see the 4 right here come in, and they continue to bid against this person who had the 139. They continue to bid right here. We see them go 240, 245, 250, and then we go 255, 265, and then they keep bidding a couple more bids, and they eventually, the last bid they have it at is 290, which I think is interesting because at 290, that was sort of the level to which the other books prior to this had been selling at, right? Like the $300, $400 level. So maybe they bidded it up to the number that they felt like they wanted to get for their book. And then, the market sort of took on the rest of it. And then eventually someone, who had the 139, the person who had been following this book all the way since it was, under $100, they're the one that ended up getting it at 585. And now by all accounts, this person who has like the 139, who's got a 100% positive score, could be someone who genuinely wants this book, but it is sort of something to be aware of. And again, I don't know if this is manipulation in any form, but if you're someone who really wanted this book and you feel like, someone is bidding you out there or trying to, create the FOMO inside of you so that you feel like you have to overspend. I mean, that's just something where it's like, to me, the message to you guys is like, hey, just know what is going on in the market here. There are possible shenanigans. And, just if you're someone out there, like, don't get caught up in the FOMO, use your discretion, use caution. And if you're someone who actually really wants this thing and you want to make a bid, just make sure that you do your own research and you know what you're doing and know what you're opting into if you actually want to buy this thing. The last little thing I want to talk about, with regards to FOMO that I think is really interesting is, I just kind of wanted to give a little shout out to DC Comics. That's right, to DC Comics, HBO, and the Peacemaker show. One of the things I think has been really, really great is that, on the CBSI Hot 10 list, one of the things that popped up again is New Teen Titans Annual #2, which is the first cover and I believe the first full appearance of the character of Vigilante. Vigilante, of course, has made his debut in the Peacemaker show, and by all accounts, I've been watching it. The Peacemaker show has been great, a lot of fun. It's very, very James Gunn. It's an acquired type of humor, but to me it works, and I've really, really enjoyed it. And this is something that I think is really great. It's a great sign for DC overall that certain books that relate to Peacemaker have finally started to make these hot lists, and I think that that's a good sign overall because people are starting to believe that their investment, whether it's a monetary one or their emotional investment, are actually going to pay off for them. Like people who are buying this book, maybe they just want it now because they want it now, but maybe there's this a little bit of an idea that, hey, like Vigilante is a character that could grow into something more. I want to have this book. I want to have my hands on it. And I think is really, really awesome because I do actually think that this is a pretty cool book. I love the characterization of Vigilante. I'm not as familiar with his comic book persona that George Perez came up with, but I like the James Gunn take on him. And it's been really cool to see that, this book has actually heated up in the market. Fair market value for this was 180, but you can see it right there. Look at this meteoric rise that this book has had over the course of this year since we've gotten the show of Peacemaker. So, back in August of last year, we see 261. Now it's selling at 328. So it's been a really great rise for this book. And it's funny because I'm actually praising the idea that this book is increasing in value because the show has been successful and people are actually admiring and liking the character. Similarly, Peacemaker #1, it hasn't hit a record sale, but overall this book has been trending up due to the fact that people want to get, a nice 9.8 of Peacemaker due to the success of the DC show. And I'm just actually really, really excited for the potential of DC comic books in the future. There's been a lot of other properties like Naomi and stuff that really haven't moved the needle, but I like that, with Peacemaker, it's a good show, it's entertaining, the characters are fun, and the books, people are FOMOing into those books in a good way, unlike how maybe they're FOMOing into the TOSIN first appearance. Anyways, that's all for this video. That was just me sort of doing a little bit of a market report. Use your discretion out there, but use caution if you want to buy this book. Let me know what you guys think. What's going on with this thing? Is this thing going to be the next Miles Morales? Drop me a like, comment, subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and I'll see you in the next video.